Well, hello and welcome everybody to our final edition of the CC Orchestra Show. Yes, we are on week 24 and I can hardly believe that our year is coming to a close. I have missed seeing all of you every Tuesday and I hope that we will be able to join together after the summer. So today in Orchestra, it is our review and celebration day. Now, if we were together in person at Community Day, we would be trying out lots of different orchestra instruments in what we call our instrument petting zoo. So it makes me sad that we don't get to do that. However, today I want to share some ideas with you about things that you can do to review and to celebrate and study instruments at home. Okay, before we go on though, I played some music that I really love and have been listening to this week before our episode started. Did you notice how it wasn't just orchestra? It was also choir. So the piece that I played, it was a movement from the St. Matthew Passion. It was written by Johann Sebastian Bach. We also call him J.S. Bach. And the reason I wanted to share this with you today is that I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter. We've been thinking about Christ's death and his resurrection this week. And in this piece and in several other passions that he wrote, J.S. Bach actually told the story of Jesus' death and his crucifixion and his resurrection. He took text from Matthew, the book of Matthew from the Bible, and he wrote music that represented each passage of scripture. And it is some of the most glorious music ever written, in my opinion. I hope you'll listen to it. So that was St. Matthew Passion by Johann Sebastian Bach. And it's in German, if you're wondering why you can't understand it. Bach wrote it for his community, and they were in Germany, so that makes sense. Okay, but maybe the point is, pick some orchestra music that you love. Listen to it regularly. Let orchestra be part of your daily life. In our house, sometimes we turn on orchestra music while we're doing our independent work, and that seems to work well. But don't limit it to a 6-week session in CC. Okay, now for some ideas for ways that you can review at home. And this will depend on what you have in your house and what age your kids are. But one idea is that you can get out all the instruments that you have in your house. Maybe you have some percussion instruments. Kids' toys often have percussion instruments. Maybe you have an old banjo in your garage, or maybe you have a drum set, or maybe you have a violin that you played when you were in middle school orchestra, or maybe you have a flute that your mom or dad played when they were in school. Whatever you have, get it out and explore playing some instruments together as a family. So that's one idea. Another idea is that you can get into the CC Foundations Guide, and right around the middle of the book, there are several pages of pictures of the orchestra instruments. Make a copy of these and cut them out. And then you can do some different activities with your cutouts. We made, I'm sure you saw these last week, we made some puppets. These were not hard to make. We simply cut out the instrument and taped a popsicle stick to it. You can listen to orchestra music, and each person in the family could be responsible for a few instruments. And as you hear the instrument played, you can hold your instrument up. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do, this was really simple to make. This is just a big sheet of paper. I folded it into 4 sections. I'm going to get back a little bit so you can see. And I labeled each section. So we have woodwind, percussion, strings, and brass. And at the top, it says instrument families. So you can take your little instruments and you can, this is a sorting activity, put it in the proper place. Okay? So that's another idea that you can do this week. I'd like for you to practice your orchestra song. And if you want to, and if you've made some puppets like we did, you could put on a family orchestra puppet show with the CC Orchestra song. And lastly, one more idea. The Dallas Symphony Orchestra has a wonderful website that is very kid-friendly. So if you go to the kids section of the Dallas Symphony's website, it's called DSO Kids. They have all sorts of interactive activities, and you could let your kids play around there this week, and I'm sure they would enjoy that. Okay, so this is obviously not a normal episode of CC Orchestra like we've had the last 5 weeks, because we don't have new content to share today. So before I sign off, I want to give you some ideas for ways that you can celebrate listening to orchestra music in your home this week. There are 4 pieces that I'm going to recommend that I think people of all ages will enjoy. Hopefully last week you listened to Benjamin Britten's the music that I recommended. And so there are 4 more pieces that I want to recommend today. One is Peter and the Wolf. One is Lemony Snicket, the composer is dead. Another is Tubby the Tuba. And the final one is Carnival of the Animals. And I'm going to try to include a YouTube link for each one of these for you to watch and to listen to this week. The nice thing about watching them on YouTube is that you and your kids will get to see the orchestra instruments in many of these videos. It has been a pleasure doing orchestra with you, and I look forward to the day when we can be back together in person again. So take good care and happy orchestra listening, everybody.